probably in the whole series because it was directed by a porno director, Danny Steinman, who I actually met at a horror movie convention, and he had the bright idea to want to screen his art house porno flick that he made in the 70s. It was called High Rise. And he showed it in the VHS room because you know how at cons, some of these horror movie cons, they show movies.
Yeah.
But Danny wanted to show the porno film. And someone agreed to show it. And, there's like kids there and stuff. So they had to like block off the room. And no one wanted to sit in there watching a porno with a 70-year-old dude. 60, 70-year-old
Speak for yourself,
dude.
Man. I'm trying to party.
Well, you know what I said? I said I'll go and watch it with him, and we literally just talked about filmmaking for like an hour and 10 minutes while this porno was playing. I learned a lot from Steinman.
What did you learn?
Well, he sort of talked about how you deal with actors, because he also directed the movie Savage Streets with Linnea Quigley and Linda Blair. Yeah. We just talked about like the craziness of.
Oh my God. Okay, first of all, sorry for a short digression. Ben Burgess, when he first moved here, used to come to my house because when he first moved to Mexico, he lived in the front and didn't have a view of the ocean. And so he would come and write his articles in my kitchen or my terrace. And one day Ben is in my house and I had never heard of Savage Streets, but YouTube shows tons of movies right now. You can watch a lot of movies for free on YouTube, especially low budget. You can watch Sleepaway Camp on YouTube. I watched it last night before the show because you had reminded me of stuff I forgot. I forgot about the pedophile person that the killer kills. We'll get to that in a second. So I'm like, oh, what is this movie with Linda Blair? Because it's on the TV, and I just pressed play. I've never heard of it. I'm just watching it. I'm like, this movie is insane. And every so often, Ben would let me type and he'd look at me like, did the principal just call that guy? Right?
There's a reason it's insane. And part of it is because like John Vernon was effed up on cocaine the whole movie. The guy that plays the principal in it.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was funny. I can say this because they're all dead now, but Steinman was like, yeah, I didn't like that guy. He was coked up the whole time and an asshole. But, I learned how to deal with him. And then he says to me, and John only did the movie because he paid, he owed the mafia money. And I had connections. And I just laughed my ass off when he told me that.
Oh, dude. That dude, the way he slaps. So he's supposed to be the principal.
He has I used to have a t-shirt of his famous line in the movie.
Which one?
Just John Vernon, go fuck an iceberg. It just, my friend T-shirt Joe up in Arizona.
There you go. Shout out T-shirt Joe. Seriously, dude, that there's a scene in that movie where he's reprimanding Linda Blair, I think for like cutting class or something.
Yeah.
And he just slaps the shit out of her.
Right.
And you're like, blah, blah, blah. I know this is supposed to be the early 80s and school was a tad different. But when I say a tad different, I mean like kind of hanging on to home ec classes.
Right.
And actually dissecting things and showering during PE. That's the difference I'm talking about. I think corporal punishment is pretty much outlawed in schools at this point. And to slap the dog shit out of one of your students, it blew my mind. And that's when Ben was like, what? Did he just slap the shit out of her? I'm like, oh yeah. So Savage Streets it's a hard watch. I'll say that. Hard in the sense of it is pretty violent. It's one of those movies that's like it's violence for violence sake.
I always had trouble with and it's because I love her as she's like one of my queens. I always have trouble with the Linnea Quigley scene. She's the mute sister in it.
Wasn't she the only one that would be doing that scene? Like, didn't another girl like walk out during that? Or is that
probably?
I forget that there's that movie and there's movie 1984, the class 1984. That I think there's a real rough scene where an actress had walked out. I can't remember.
Although I will say it's very cathartic seeing like Linda Blair with a crossbow just taking out those dudes.
And Linda Blair, kind of hot in that movie. You see why Rick James went after her. Not gonna lie. It's like, oh, I understand, Rick. You are kind of gross because she was really young, but
yeah.